Good morning, everybody, and peace be with you. I cannot believe it. It is August 16th. That I can believe, but this is my last coffee and conversation. That I cannot believe. So I brought out all the stops. Good morning. Dottie gets the prize for the first commenter. Good morning, Carrie. Glad to see you. I have got the Faith in Real Life mug that came to be during this time and season of coffee and conversation. Thank you, Millie, for that. Cheers. And I thought I'm going to do a little bit of memory lane today, a little reminiscing, a little, Libby yesterday, she gave such a beautiful reflection and she just was like, yeah, well, so we're going to take a break and we'll see you soon. We don't know what we're doing. So, and I was like, okay, good. That rest assured, ministry is not ending. Faith in Real Life is alive and well and kicking and moving on. Many more things and resources and opportunities, I'm sure, are coming your way. But I did want to take a couple minutes today with you to just take a look back and just celebrate where we've been, where we've come from. Good morning. Livy is Faith in Real Life today. You just never know who's going to pop up as Faith in Real Life. Good morning. Peace be with you. It is so good to be with you. Oh, man. I was sitting here last night and I was just kind of thinking as I was, planning for this last coffee and conversation, looking back to where it all started, right? And it's been 2.5 years. Like, who would have ever thought when Greg first asked me to come on because he was doing every day, right? And asked me to take a day. I was like, okay, but I'm gonna put that coffee. This is not going to work for me. I have to do tea. And, no one anticipated, I think, that this would go on for very long. I know we've said that before. No one anticipated that. And so I started with my tea tips. And the reason, who remembers? Let me know in the chat if you remember my tea tips on Tea Talk Tuesday. And I started doing those as a way to kind of fill the space as people were jumping on. So I didn't just like leap into my topic and start talking and then have people come on and be like a minute and a half into the program and have no idea. So yeah, Libby remembers the tea tips. And eventually it just kept going and going. I said, I think I'm running out of tea tips. And then this happened anyway. This is bad. This is lovingly referred to at Trilogy as coffee crack. So this is what the B team introduced me to. And then it was really a toss-up if this was in my house to be able to talk about tea, So I came over to the dark side of coffee. But today we're coffee because it's coffee and conversation. So I figured we really do need to, Carrie Flisky says she remembers me doing her. She has no idea what they were, right? Just earth-shattering, life-changing tea tips. So I have a couple for you today because I thought it fitting to end with tea tips. So did you know that in the 18th century, tea was so valuable that it had to be kept under lock and key? Okay. So when you wanted tea, this caddy, this box, basically this locked box would be brought to you and it would be unlocked and opened. And in there would be all different kinds of teas and like maybe sugar cane or whatever, you might want to put into your tea, but all the different kinds of tea. And it was very, very expensive, right? Let me see what she says. I found a sign that said, I used to think I liked coffee, but then I just realized it was just the cream. Yeah. That's me. And so here's this expensive treasure, really. And there was a time when more tea was smuggled illegally into a country than was legally brought through. And it was so valuable that it used to get cut with like other things to make it go further, kind of like drugs, unfortunately. So they would put like sawdust and bark, twigs, ground up twigs, things like that, and sheep dung. Ew. Right? I may never drink tea again. Of course, that was back in the day. And so when people talk about having a tea caddy, let me know in the comments if you have a tea caddy, if you are a tea drinker, if you have a tea caddy. This is the extent of Carrie's tea caddy. I have no idea what this is from. Probably something from my classroom, maybe crayons, but colored pencils. I don't even know. But this made the move. A lot of other things didn't. And this has all my different kinds of tea. And we've got if I want to do real tea, which is infuser, because it wasn't until the 1900s that the actual tea pouch was made. And a guy put tea leaves into a silk little sachet, and that got dipped into the water, and then we had tea bags. So I just thought that was super, super interesting. So they're all in here. This is my tea caddy. And I was thinking about all the different things that we talked about, the right temperature to steep tea. I remember that one, and different types of tea and which ones are stronger. And some tea has more caffeine than coffee and all of that sort of thing. Good morning, Gina. Welcome. We're reminiscing. We're taking a little stroll down memory lane. We're reading through the chapters of the last couple of years of Coffees and Conversations, right? And whether it be Wednesday Wisdoms or Cranberries and Coffee, or no, Cranberries and Conversation, Coffee and Conversation, Tea and Talk, whatever it is. Just really celebrating the last 2.5 years of this particular ministry that has been going. If Greg would have told me, hey, would you take a day and could you just be ready to do it for like a couple of years? I would have been like, nope, I love you, but nope, not going to happen. And instead, this most incredible thing. Hi, Louise. This most incredible ministry was born, this community. I mean, I look at you, I look at the names, and I remember after, what was it, a year, when Greg was like, maybe we're going to stop this. Maybe, maybe it's run its course, whatever. And I did my, what I thought was my last episode. And I had your names, those of you who've shown up, week after week after week, just in the bag, and what a gift you have been. I mean, I still feel that way and believe that. Good morning, Tina. We're walking down memory lane over the last 2.5 years of Coffee and Conversations, right? You have been such a gift and such a joy to all of us through all of this. I mean, you've shown up over and over and over. If I had time, I would have gone back and been like, this is Gina's, 400th episode of Coffee and Conversation, but over 500 episodes of this. And, here we are still hanging out together, and you're still showing up, and I'm still seeing these beautiful little faces and comments coming up over the screen. And so such a blessing. So I want to encourage everybody today, if possible, or at some point this week, while, these last Coffee and Conversations are going on. So many loyal family members. Yes, indeed, we do. The birthday episode. Yep. I want to encourage everybody to kind of do a timeline, right? That started at the beginning of the pandemic, to be honest, because that's why this ministry came to be. So it started in March. Maybe you want to start in April if you were just catching on that this was going on, but you want to start your timeline, and then right up to this point, and just put the little slash marks for all the really important milestones that you have faced over these last 2.5 years. I mean, it's been incredible to me just to think about all of the changes. And this Coffee and Conversation ending is just another change, right? It's not ending ministry. It's just going to change. It's just going to look different. I don't know what that's going to look like yet. I don't know my place, my part in it. But I do know that Faith in Real Life will continue to serve in the highest level in the most beautiful way. So we don't have to worry about that. But yeah, we've done so much together. Libby just nailed it. We've done so much life together, all of us here right? I think about these giant milestones because not only did all of us start our timeline in the same place, okay, how do you do life in a pandemic? How do you connect with people? How do you, how do you isolate and still feel part of a community? Faith in real life, coffee conversation every morning. And it's been such a joy. I would love for you in the comments to let me know, those of you who are here with me now, how many of you feel like you caught like 80% or more of our coffee and conversations live in the morning, 80% or more. And then how many of you, if you don't come regularly and don't catch them all, how many of you have watched at least 50% of the replays over the course of the last 2.5 years? I'd love to know that. So, Gina, yes. Yes, what? All of them? 80 to 99%? I gave you a sick day just in case you needed to sleep in. Mm-hmm. Millie. Mm-hmm. I'm Louise. I didn't even know you did this. You know what? Don't worry, because there is a replay of over 500 episodes for you to watch. Oh, the time it would take. Pay the real time 95 live watcher production here. Yeah, Lib, you never really got many days off, did you? Dottie, I believe that 98% at least. 90%. Yep. I'm loving that. That is so incredible. So I start my timeline there with all of you, right? Where all of us were just trying to figure it out, never having any idea. I remember still saying in June that I was just going to get in the car. Probably in May. I was like, if I don't get back to work soon, I'm just going to put my son in the car and we're going to drive to Florida and stay with my parents for a while. Oh, silly, silly Carrie. That is not at all. Well, that was not on the table at all. I didn't see my parents for ages, right? Like so many other people. And so I look at some of these milestones: being laid off from work, right? Learning how to Zoom, learning all of the technology that went behind it, being asked to do this particular show. Darn work gets in my way in the morning. So 50% live. So yeah, I love that, Tina, that you took the time to go back. Good morning. And we are walking down memory lane today, and we're doing a little timeline over what the last 2.5 years have really looked like for us and all of the changes that have come our way, right? So we figure all that. I started a new career. I finished my certification, became a life coach, then went on to become a mentor coach with my company, really expanded my ministry in a way that I just didn't have time before the pandemic, even though I had the vision for it. So that has been really cool, really kind of awesome. Sorry, I was a little distracted when the Bills players come out. He's one of the Buffalo Bills players. We have like a bunch of them that live here, but there's one of the guys, you'll probably hear his car because they're all loud. Just got in, so it must be time to go to practice. But anyway, helped my parents sell my childhood home and move to another state. Sold my house. How many of you sold a house besides the B team and I? How many of you sold a house during this last 2.5 years? Because holy cow, it's a lot, right? And so that's a big change, an end to one chapter, right? My childhood home, that's an end of a chapter. It was time to turn the page and look at what's next. What's next is visiting my parents in Ohio and Florida instead of 2.5 miles away, right? Yeah, Merlin and Misha barking. Oh my gosh, yes. The lawnmower man. Yep. So keep doing that. Keep putting all those memories into the chat because I think this is beautiful. So that was a chapter in my life ending, right? When the pandemic started, the ministry that I had with teenagers at one of the other churches, it ended too. That was a chapter. The page was turned, and I didn't go back to that. Even after that church started singing, which was a lot later than my other one. But even when that happened, that page had turned, and then I think about we selling our own house, making a decision to do that and moving out of there and moving into an apartment. That was another page turned, in our life, and sending our son off to college, turning a page. Now we're empty nesters, although he's just been here for 3 months, so it doesn't feel like we're empty nesters. But he's back now in Arizona, so pretty soon you're not even going to see it, but I'll be back in my original office. Well, not my original one because I started that at home, but my office in the apartment. So another page turned. Friends, I got to meet my birth mother. during this time. I mean, that's a big chapter. That was like a 50-year chapter of wondering who she was, what she looked like. Do I look like her? Do I sound, all that stuff, all those questions. That chapter was a big, fat chapter. I got to turn that page and start a new chapter with her in my life. So it's so interesting. And of course, all of the new friends that I've made because I was more a part of this community than ever before, because I was getting to know you each and every week when we would come together and you would share your comments. Louise celebrated 50th wedding anniversary this year in May. That's huge, right? That's like a pretty big milestone. And the page turns to the next part of your married life, right? Like, what's next? This has been 50 years. Where do we want to go from here? What's it going to look like? What's the new chapter gonna read? What's the read going to be, right? The one that got me hooked with Natalie. Yes. Remember when Greg would have the kids on to try to spice it up and make it interesting? And I know sometimes I think one of the kids should have hosted at least one of the days. What would this look like? Maybe that's what this is going to turn into, right? The Wazinski family conversations. All right. And it'll be Natalie, streaming in from college, and Nathan will be like, I don't know where Nathan is living right now. That's how far I've gotten. I know he graduated. Like, what is even happening? I don't even know. So I know he's at Trilogy, but what's next? I'm not sure. So it's time to get caught back up, team. My life changed a lot over the last 2.5 years. And it started with coffee and conversation. Yes, it did. Carrie, I mean, like, I think of where your life has come to and all the comments and the conversations that we've had, like, incredible. Yes, and that is my most memorable one, the bathroom episode with Amy and the toothbrush. I think about that every stinking morning when I've got my electric toothbrush in and I'm doing all the work. That was a brilliant episode. Amy, kudos for you. Round of applause. Yeah, there's no way the kids will take that day. No kidding. I have two that age as well. The Father Max episodes, right? Remember those? Absolutely incredible. So with the time that we have left, I just want to share with you guys some, and without crying, right? Greg and Amy and Libby have always seen something in me that I failed to see in myself. It's always easier for those around us to see what we're capable of, to see the potential, and to believe in us when we don't believe in ourselves, right? And I wore this shirt, Faith Over Fear, on purpose today because, like I said, from my mug to my coffee crack to my shirt, this is all part of the memories. It is all part of understanding that this seemingly simple thing that started as just a way to stay connected with all of you during a global pandemic that none of us knew how to navigate through, just to love one another and support one another and offer encouragement to one another, turned into something so much more important. And I hope that you have felt it. I hope that you have seen it. I hope that you've seen us each individually grow and change and become more confident in our ministries, more confident in our abilities, more confident in our message. Thank you for putting up with all of it along the way and continuing to encourage and love on us. I think I speak for our whole team when I say that you are the reason we get out of bed in the morning to do this, right? Now, Libby, she might get out a little earlier to get her workout in, but me is the only day out of the week I'm up this early. And what this showed me is that when people believe in you, you can be consistent. You can do things you didn't think were possible. I love doing the ones with you, Carrie. Yes, I loved that one too. Which reminds me, that is how I want to kind of finish up this last time that we have together. I started writing again, and it was something that I had really put aside for quite a while. I hadn't really been doing a whole lot of songwriting. And I think of all of the songs that came out of Tea Talks, right? I don't know part of me after about 8 months was like, why did I commit to doing a song each time? And none of you ever said that I had to. I don't know what it would have been like if I just didn't. But I came to expect it of myself. And now I look back, and some of my favorite original songs were songs that came out of Tea Talk Topics. And so I wanted to share just bits of a couple of them with you, and then end with one that I kind of rewrote. It's off my very first album, off the Christmas album. And no, we're not going to do Christmas music, but I kind of revamped it a little bit to fit us and our team. Aw, thank you. There was times when I would be like, I don't have a song that fits this theme. And it would be 11:30 at night, the night before my talk, and God would just give one to me for you. And to me, that was not something that was typical in my ministry, and one of the things that has really grown and expanded for me. So this is a little greatest hits reel, at least my greatest hits, the ones that I love the most. So I'm just going to do bits and pieces of each of them. If you have paper in front of you, this would be a great moment to listen and draw your own timeline. I count it all as joy when trials come my way. My faith is being tested in the fire. I count it all as joy. I seek His wisdom to conquer any doubt, and no one can take that joy from me. I love you, Lord. I praise your holy name. I lift my hands and I find my joy in you. I love you, Lord. I praise your holy name. I lift my hands and I will rejoice always. That was one of my favorites. I count it all as joy, everything that we have been through, everything that we have gone through together. Look at me looking for my guitar pick. It's like a never-ending thing in my life. Where, oh, where did the guitar pick go? Oh, well, I guess, oh, I've got one right here. Right here in my dining room, yes. This one was one that came about when I just wanted to really celebrate what some of the people here that I love so much were doing and accomplishing and were about, and trying new things, and just really wanting to celebrate our friendships. I see you there, my friend, and I love what you're doing. I see you there, my friend, and I'm proud of who you are. You are beautiful, you are shining bright, you are walking in your light. There's a plan for you and you're living true, and I'm filled with wonder. I'm filled with wonder. Just wanting to encourage, just wanting you to know that you're seen and loved and appreciated, right? This is another one of my favorites. The themes are coming around too at church. I actually took this one and shared it with the congregation. It's my Shepherd King. You're the shepherd of my heart. You find the lost and broken. You bring light into this darkened world. You offer rest, you heal the lame. You lead us to still waters. You bring all the blessings, and we praise your holy name. My shepherd king, I will praise you. You are King of heaven, King of all the earth. My shepherd king, I bow before you. You conquered death, you are my victory. I think of all the things that God has conquered in each and every one of our lives over the last 2.5 years. He truly has been our shepherd king, our wonderful, merciful Savior. Amen. All right. And look at that. The time is just flying by. Oh, thank you. Thank you for your encouragement on the music. It really has been such a joy to be able to write. This one's for Livy. I think this was one of the ones that she liked. With these feet, I will go into the vineyard, be a worker in your field. With these feet, I will follow wherever you will lead, and I will serve. You are, you are, you are in every breath I take. You are worthy of my all. You are, you are, you are the one I seek to serve. With my life, I will be your light, oh Lord. That one was for you, Liv. You are, you are. I love it when she's like, texts me in the middle of the day and she's like, dang it, that song is stuck in my head. So hopefully that's one that got stuck in her head. So, my friends, this last song, which is really going to go into part of my prayer for all of you and all of us, this community, this incredible community. This one, as I said, was off of my very first album. I never thought I would have an album. I never set out to be a singer-songwriter per se. God just always gave me music as a way to work through life, you know. And when I think of those songs, I count it all as joy. That was at the height of when there was so much unknown, so much like, what's going to happen in our world, Lord? And who am I going to lose to this pandemic? And what is next? Is the world ever going to be the same, you know? And for God to put in my heart, it's okay, daughter. This is what he says to each and every one of us when the changes come. Count it all as joy. The good times, yes, but even the hard times, even the struggles, all of it is joy. And then he promises to be our shepherd king, to take us, to lead us and guide us. And then there's like the morning. You are all that we need, Lord. You are, you are. And so with our feet, with our hands, with our hearts, we go and do your work in the vineyard. It doesn't matter if there's a pandemic or not. There's work to be done in the vineyard, and you find a way to do it. And that is what Coffee and Conversation has been for the last 2.5 years, at least for me, and hopefully for all of you as well, a way to go into the vineyard. This was our vineyard right here on StreamYard, going live in these places. So this song came about, my whole first album was written between September 11th, and Christmas. So all of them, it was entitled Hope. It is actually on iTunes. And it was, the whole album was because our country needed hope. And our country needed to know that God was in control and that we were going to be okay. And so I thought it was appropriate because that's really what we needed again during this pandemic that we've all been lived through, right? Prayerfully, those of us who have lived through, thankfully. But the very last song on the Christmas album is called Goodbye, My Friend. And even though I know that this isn't goodbye, that we're not saying goodbye to one another, it's just changing, we're saying goodbye to Coffee and Conversation. And so I thought it would be appropriate to do this because this is just another chapter. We get to turn the page and we get to keep reading though. We don't have to close the book. We just turn the page and and we keep reading. And what's the next chapter going to be about? There's that excitement of, oh, this is a great book. I can't wait to read the next chapter. I cannot wait. So this is my final prayer for us, and we'll end with a blessing. There's a road we must travel, a way we must go. There's a place where our dreams will lead. There are those that we meet as we journey along, and for a time we will walk side by side. But now the page has turned and the time has come. This chapter, it had to end. So goodbye, my friends, I will never forget. Goodbye to you with love. Now it's time to give my thanks, all my love and gratitude, for being here each morning that you came. Every time you shared your thoughts, what you felt and what you've done, for each and every amen and I'm in. But now the page has turned and the time has come. This chapter, it had to end. So goodbye, my friends, I will never forget. Goodbye to you with love. So much love. Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you, be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Sing it with me. Amen. 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 I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. Amen. So, thank you from the deepest places in my heart, not just the bottom, but all the deep places of my heart, for jumping on every single Tuesday that you came to hang out with me. And every comment that you shared, every song that you listened to that I sang, that you prayed with me through, all of the prayers said for me, and all of you that allowed me to pray for you. God bless you. God keep you. May his face shine upon you. So much love, so much gratitude, and only a couple of tears. I can't wait to see what's next. I can't wait to turn the page with you and see where this ministry goes. So have a wonderful day. Thanks for staying on a little long with me, and we'll see you all tomorrow with Wednesday Wisdom with Millie. God bless you guys.